So you've probably heard a lot about AI and how it can apply to podcasts, how it's changing the world, but you're not exactly sure how to use it, where to start, or you're looking for the next big thing, the next thing that you can use in your business today. And I can tell you that AI has completely transformed the way that me and my agency run. We produce hundreds of pieces of content every week, and AI is a really important piece of that. In this video, you're going to learn exact steps on how to use AI in your business. And we're also going to learn some of the bigger picture applications and ideas to help you be successful moving forward. So at its core, what AI does is it takes in text, it takes in words and creates data, predicts what the next word is going to be. So why this is important for you as a podcaster is we're always talking, we're speaking words. Transcription software makes it very easy to turn our vocal words into text. And then AI takes that text and creates all sorts of amazing types of images, sounds, videos. And how does that apply to us? Where are the gaps? Where can we leverage these tools? If you're feeling a little bit nervous, you should be, A, but B, you cannot afford to disregard what's happening. You're not going to be replaced by AI. You're going to be replaced by someone that is using AI. Let's go back to New York in the 1920s. If you were driving a horse and buggy, you were quickly usurped by the automobile. And you might not have liked automobiles. You might not have liked cars. You might have loved your horse. I love horses too. But if you didn't adapt to the automobile, your business, your podcasts were going to die. Because the reality is, in the time that it takes you to produce one episode or one clip, I could produce 10. You cannot compete. You cannot compete. And what do I do with all that time that's left over? I work on my relationships. I work on my marketing. I work on improving the quality of the After Hours Entrepreneur podcast. So again, you cannot afford to sleep on this. That's why you're here. That's why we're going to look at some of these tools. I also want to explain that one of the things that's most exciting to me is how we automate AI. How can we use AI, automation softwares, to create content at scale, to create better content at scale? And in this talk, we're going to start by covering some of the most specific and simple uses of AI, and then we're going to move into some more complex and big picture type of uses. So don't log out, stick around to the end, because if you miss what I talk about at the end, you're going to be missing the real value proposition of this speech. So let's start by talking about the fastest growing software ever produced, which is ChatGPT or OpenAI. So there's a lot of uses for ChatGPT that you can use immediately. For example, if you've ever sat there looking at a screen wondering, what the heck am I going to talk about? ChatGPT can solve that problem for you. For example, you might ask ChatGPT, what are 10 key topics to be spoken about in the niche that I speak about, whether that's cooking or entrepreneurship? What are 10 topics that are really popular on the web? And it'll give you 10 ideas. But don't stop there. Keep drilling down. Ask ChatGPT, okay, what are 10 subtopics about these primary topics? And then start creating content based on all these primary topics. And why this is important is because as a podcaster, you're not going to exactly know what's going to hit. You're not exactly sure what your audience wants to hear. So what we're doing at this preliminary phase is we're using ChatGPT as a tool to inspire us to create different types of content. We're producing it, and then we're listening to feedback from our audience. What do they want? What are they listening to? Which episodes are they completing? Which episodes do I finish and do I start getting DMs and emails about? This strategy is a really good way to start creating content at scale, get ideas at scale very quickly, and start producing and understanding what your audience cares about. By the way, this is particularly very effective when it comes to short form content like Reels or YouTube Shorts. You can also use ChatGPT as a way of finding guests and landing great guests on your show. And I'll give you a great example. Go to ChatGPT and ask, hey, who are 100 influencers in my niche, in my space, and what is a link to their website contact page? ChatGPT will give you a ton of different people that you can reach out to immediately. You could also use the Pod Pros and the Pod Match software, which I definitely recommend and I use. Another thing that really excites me about AI is being able to customize messages at scale. And I was speaking to an AI app developer the other day. He's in my pro group, and we were talking about an app that he's developing. And what this app does is it's a plugin for Google. It's a Google Chrome extension that scrapes all of the data, all of the information off a LinkedIn profile. So for example, if I want to reach out to a guest and I want to scale this, I want to get as much value for my time, I can use this software to scrape their LinkedIn page, it'll look at things like where they went to school, mutual connections, what's in their bio, what's in their about, and then it'll create a custom message to that person. This is something that really excites me. It might scare you a little bit. I get that. We could talk about that. But it's also really exciting because now I can reach out in custom ways that are going to make people open up my emails. It's going to make people open up my DMs because the messages they get are customized to them. And it saves me 10 to 15 minutes of actually reading through all the information on their LinkedIn profile. Very powerful. Another powerful tool is a note-taking app or an AI app that helps you out in your Zoom calls. I don't know about you, but have you ever finished a Zoom call and been like, I feel like Jim said something at a certain point, but I don't remember. And, I had this meeting 3 months ago and I just don't remember anything that happened. Now, there are a lot of AI note-taking apps, and I've tried several of them. My personal favorite is an app called Avoma, which has a free version. But one of the cool things that it does is it solves that problem of who said that. It will identify different places in the Zoom call where different people were speaking. In fact, it'll even identify who did the most speaking. As a great salesperson, great salespeople actually do more listening than talking. And I've used this as a tool to see, hey, if I'm speaking too much, how do I get myself from 60% down to 30% of the speaking time? I want the other person speaking more. So again, kind of a useful tool. It also is going to identify places that were relevant in the conversation. For example, where was the pitch? Where was a primary question? Where was there a conflict or debate? It identifies these places using AI transcription software. It's pretty amazing. And then on the back end, another thing that it will do is give you key takeaways using AI. What are the key takeaways from the meeting? Super cool tool, and it links up directly to my Zoom cloud. So anything that's recorded to my cloud, Avoma will take, it'll repurpose, and I can get a bunch of notes without spending a bunch of time typing and more time paying attention to my guest, meeting component, whatever you want to call them. Let's talk about AI for production. One of the things that really got me excited about AI was at PodFest 2022 when I met the creators of CapShow. They pulled me aside. They said, hey, Mark, let's upload an MP3 file. And then instantly, in about a few seconds, it created titles, show notes, descriptions, takeaways, key moments. It wrote articles. It was amazing. And I was kind of blown away because writing show notes in that process is really laborious and time consuming. So experimenting and trying out programs like CapShow is a really, really great way to start writing notes much more quickly. There's even apps that can mimic your voice. I recorded an entire episode of the After Hours Entrepreneur using AI. I uploaded 30 minutes of my voice and my vernacular, and then the AI generated an entire episode based on my voice. And by the way, all the text, all the copy that went into that was generated by ChatGPT. I asked it to write the episode. I uploaded the text to this program called 11labs.io. That's 11labs.io. And it spoke the entire episode. And then at the very end, I jumped in personally and said, oh, by the way, everything you just listened to is completely AI generated. I got dozens and dozens of emails from people who are like, holy crap, Mark, I didn't know that wasn't you. And the scary part, this is only getting better. This audio AI content is getting only better. So it's a good idea to start experimenting with it now. Another thing that I found valuable here is, as a podcast agency owner, I work with a lot of different clients. So sometimes a client will reach out to me and ask for like last minute corrections to an episode. And instead of me going back to the client and saying, hey, I need you to re-record this, I can simply use 11 Labs to fill in, maybe just a few words or maybe a sentence of that podcast. Of course, before you start doing that, you want to make sure that your client is aware that you're going to be using AI to mimic their voice, because some people aren't going to want that. So just a quick spoiler, don't start going out and like repurposing everyone's voice with AI. Just make sure that they know what you're doing first. Regardless, that's a great way to provide extra value to your clients while saving time. The other big part of production that I'm getting excited about is clip creation and editing. You've probably heard of programs like Descript, but there's other programs like Video.ai and Momento, which are super sweet. All you have to do is upload a video and it will create dozens of clips for you. You're going to need to kind of play with the template and change around the hex codes and the font and move things around. But after you've devised the template, this is a really fast and efficient way of creating clips. You can even go to your backlog on YouTube and just paste links from old YouTube videos, and it's going to create tons of clips from content that had already been recorded, already uploaded. I could take on a client, take control of their YouTube channel as a manager after they've given me access, and then go in and make clips from tons of old episodes. This has actually been a really good profit and revenue driver for my business, as I don't have to ask the client for anything. I go in, create tons of clips, post them all over social media. They get tons of value and attention. They get tons of subscribers and views on their YouTube channel, and I make tons of money. So it's a win-win-win-win-win. So we've talked about production, we've talked about strategy. I want to talk about automation, because once you start getting into automating AI, there are some really amazing things that you can do. And I'd love to hear your feedback on how you're using automation and AI. So I'm going to give you 3 specific examples of how I'm using AI, all using the program Zapier. So what Zapier is it's a software that connects softwares together that don't normally communicate. Very interesting. It can be a little bit complicated to figure it out at first, but you can do it. It's not that complicated. You can figure it out. I'm going to explain an automation that I'm using with Zapier that I think is really going to help you. So this first example is in show preparation. Before you get on the call with your guest, what you do is you might have them fill out your Calendly or calendar booking link. What you're going to do is you're going to use the information that was input into that calendar link. You're going to use Zapier to send it over to ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT can give you all sorts of different items, like potential title for the episode based on their answers, potential questions you might ask them, potential intro. So it can get, based on the way that you set up ChatGPT and based on the way that you set up your form, you can get a lot of really interesting ideas before you've even hit up Google, before you've even listened to one of their shows. And then what ChatGPT is going to do, it's going to set up a brand new Google folder or Dropbox folder, however you're managing your files. And it's going to create a brand new Word doc, a brand new Google Doc right inside that folder. So when you sit down to interview your guest, you already have your folder, you already have your Google Doc, and you can just read off and kind of kick it off from there. Super cool. Now, I'm going to give you another example of a way that I've been experimenting with creating show notes. Again, we talked about some softwares that can handle show notes, but using the same concept, as soon as you finish recording your podcast with someone, as soon as you finish this, while it's fresh in your mind, you're going to go to a Google form and you're going to type in all sorts of information. It could be their bio, maybe it's a potential title. The key one here is 5 to 6 key takeaways from the episode. Maybe you talk about the guest business and what they do. It's going to send it over to ChatGPT, and it's going to write out a description. You can use this automation to create emails to promote the episode. You can set it up so that it's going to create different sorts of titles. Basically, when you go to produce your show, you've already got everything that you need. It's already done. That stuff that you've been really not looking forward to doing, it's already done. So that's another example. And I'm going to give you a third example here, and this is a way of collaborating at scale. Look for people that are influencers in your niche. Look for people that maybe host podcasts, run businesses, or thought leaders in your niche, and send them a form and simply say, hey, I love what you're doing. I'd love to feature you on my website. Would you please take 5 minutes to fill out this Google form? I'd love to write a blog, feature you on my website. This is a great way to get attention. Now, what's that person going to say? No, I don't like free attention? Unlikely. What they're going to say is, I'd love to be a part of this. Sounds great. They're going to fill out the form. It's going to, you know where I'm going with, I know you know where I'm going with this. They're going to fill out the form. It's going to send it to ChatGPT. It's going to open up the Google folder in the Google Doc right there. So what you're going to do is you're simply going to go to that Google Doc. You're going to upload it to your website. Maybe you make a few revisions. And then you're going to reach out to them on the back end and say, hey, the website's live. The blog is live. This is awesome. Check it out. And that's you could do all sort. Your wheels are turning. I can see it. The wheels are turning because after you've made that connection and you've started with value, there's a lot of things you can do on the back end. Maybe they're a referral partner. Maybe they're a guest. Maybe they are a potential client of yours. This strategy it's collaboration at scale, which is really exciting. Thanks for listening to this talk here today. I hope you're walking away with some ideas on how to improve your podcast, on how to save time. And I'm just excited to share all the newest, hottest tricks that I'm using on my podcast with my clients. This is a really exciting time to disrupt the industry, and that's what thought leaders do. Thanks for watching.